We're back.
Back.
Early this time. It's gonna be yep, exciting stuff because we're both fired up and ready to go. Morning, guys. Here. Were you always waking up early? How long have you been waking up early in your life?
Long time.
Yeah, that's what's. I'm 37. It's been 3 years now straight of early rising and feeling good about it. No complaints.
Yeah. I
Took a
mean,
while.
if I sleep till like 9 a.m., it's like unheard of.
Yeah, for sure. For me too. 8 a.m. is pretty late for me.
Ditto. I know. It feels like the whole day is gone.
You can get a lot done in those early morning hours. I
I'll
mean,
tell you, man.
it's hard for me to beat the sun around here where I'm at. I love when I do get up and it's dark still. I'm like, wow, I really got a lot of day ahead of me. But I am on this weird time zone change. It's light around here, pretty early, depending on if you're using the Chicago time zone, which I'm used to. Uh,
Mhm.
so it, it's uh, it's funny. Like, yeah, I thought it was light out at like 5 a.m. this morning. It was pretty sunny. So
Nice. Wow, 5. Yeah, that's pretty early for the sun
yeah,
to be up.
yeah, you got to be up real early to beat it in this time of year.
Yeah.
Well, enough chit chat about the weather. We were talking about flat,
It's one
flat
of
Earth.
my favorite subjects.
Everyone,
Anyway,
the easiest. It's the go-to subject, the weather.
well, the sun is out, the chemtrails are shining.
Yeah, the weather's a whole topic day of its own.
Yeah, the weather.
Yeah, talking about how that works, what's natural and what's not. How do you ever distinguish?
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
right. An
well,
episode all for its own. Yeah.
it's a topic that I don't talk about because I have no way of knowing, but in my heart, I feel like I do know there's artificial weather, and then there is something you could call like more organic, natural weather. And the only way that natural system works is the flat Earth system. It doesn't make much sense that it would happen so cyclically um, with the chaos system we were finishing the last conversation about.
All
But
right.
the you know idea we're in something like a snow globe, and we have this container we're in. That's where the water cycle can happen, and we
Yeah.
can have the process that creates rain and snow, and it makes total sense. It just makes sense. Oh, I get it when you see it that way. Whereas,
Yeah.
yeah, it gets real crazy to explain why everything works as it does so cyclically, perfectly in tune when you do it their way. You start Coriolis effects and all kind and different, you know, speeds of rotation at different points on the same globe. Like that one always confused me. Like you spin a basketball on your finger, the entire basketball spinning at the same speed. You
It
know,
is.
they got people believing like if you're closer to the equator or here, you spin this speed, and over here, you
Yes.
spin at this speed.
Yeah, and dragging the atmosphere along with it. That's the funniest part.
Everyone can, yeah, poke fun at what they like. There's a
Yeah.
lot.
So yeah, flat Earth, like I was saying before, it's one of my favorite conspiracy theories, conspiracy subjects. uh, for a couple of reasons. Like I was saying before, I like it the most, or in a lot of ways, because you can weigh empirical evidence against incomprehensible magical models. So I think that's what makes it, one of the more compelling, uh, subjects.
Yeah, empirical as in you can see a lot of the proofs, the flat earth proofs. They're
Yeah,
probably the reality compared to the facts you state that you were taught. And then
right. Which you cannot test or verify.
yeah, and the non-believers, guys like you and I, we're willing to say, well, you just saying that, but how do we prove it? And then everyone gets, they can't prove it. All they can do is point to the experts that did it for them.
That's right. Here, let me show you some Neil deGrasse Tyson or Don Petit.
What is that called? Pleading to the authority, or what is that fallacy?
Yeah,
Something
appeal to authority.
appeal to authority. Yeah, that's the
I
name.
forget I forget the Latin, but yeah,
That's the name of the game, and right when you're defending the
absolutely.
globe.
That's right. Trust the experts. Trust the science, as we've all come to know and love that stupid phrase.
Yeah, I was gonna open. I forgot with the concept. Dare we even talk about flat Earth? Because once you do, you're ostracized. You're one of those people. How dare you go there and think that way? And it's because you are rejecting, this what everyone believes, and that alone is like the real thing that pisses people off. It seems to. Um, it's like how dare you?
How dare you?
And it stops there for a lot of people, and then you can't even further the conversation, show why, like we were once there as well, we believed that, we were taught that, we were programmed that, and for this reason or that, we've seen why it was good to deprogram from just repeating those facts and believing them as truth. When again, your point, empirical evidence, if you really want to put the time in, can show you otherwise.
Yeah, no. I mean, one of the sort of paradox, the sort of paradox of it all for me is that I've learned more about all this space stuff, the speed of the rotation and the hurtling through space and, orbit, the speed around the sun. I've learned more about all that stuff than I ever knew back when I believed we were on a spinning globe.
Same.
Isn't that kind of funny? I mean, like, I didn't know any of that stuff. I just believed.
No one knows it because you
Not amongst the believers, amongst the faithful. Yeah, they don't know
yeah,
that.
you want to try and tell your friends once you become a flat earther, or tell your loved ones, and you start using their facts to prove a point, and they don't know them and they don't care, and I want to hear it. I got, of course, one little cat problem. I'll be right back.
Oh, sure.
Well, but I was thinking about you were able to get your parents to see the light, right? They're on board. It's not spinning.
Yeah, yeah. I was able to. Oh, I was able to turn them around. Oh, I've got a dog looking in my car window.
Oh, not yours.
Not my dog.
Big one.
Medium size, yeah. Anyway, it's gone. Yeah, so I was able to succeed in that way, amazingly. It wasn't, it took a little while. It wasn't the easiest thing, uh,
Not
because
at
it
all.
was, like we were just saying, it's like how could you even doubt? But Yeah, a few Eric Dubay videos. Later they were scratching their heads and wondering, well, maybe this is maybe there's something to this.
Yeah, Dubé did put some pretty solid ones out, even though since our dinosaur videos, I never even speak his name really. Uh,
I know it was a bit of a letdown.
but yeah, he did have some concise ones that were probably good for opening the conversation up for people.
I think so, yeah. Because he just sticks to the facts. He doesn't even try to have a sense of humor or anything like that. I mean, he just presents it, you know, and that's it. So, he presents both sides. So, like, those are good. I mean, he's good at like sort of like collecting up other people's research and presenting it in a nice, coherent way.
Hmm. Yeah, and you and I talked about having a flat Earth kind of conversation here, but at the end of the day, the work's been done, and there's only so much we could talk about when oftentimes visual, imagery and helps a lot. Seeing some of these points, we're saying empirical. There's empirical observations you can make that help bring it all together. Why we're saying what we're saying, and I'm always like filtering here and stopping because it's like we haven't explained anything to someone that might just start listening to us here that doesn't know much about flat Earth. All they're hearing is two guys saying flat Earth and saying, they're believers, but not really saying anything else that's helpful. And so then I'm always like, should we say something helpful to like create some reasons? And it's a back and forth dilemma, I go through. Um,
Yeah, no, I hear you. I mean, but like you just said, I mean, it's hard to do without the visuals because that's really what drives the points. Um, is the P900, photos, and
no, right.
photos across impossible distances where the mountain or the skyline or whatever should be hundreds of feet or a mile below the visual, you know,
Because of the
horizon, over the curve. It should not even be visible by their own, by NASA and science's own calculations.
the Earth is a globe. It's got a lot of curvature to it.
Yes.
And that's like I mean, I'm just gonna explain this out. Like that's something that flat Earth is talking about left and right. It's like where is this curvature that is represented in the globe we're told we live on? Where is the spinning, that we're told is going on, all day, every day? And just question
Even
things.
though you can't feel it, you can't detect it, it's happening. We're whirling at 1,200 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Amazing.
But yeah, no, go back to where we were just at with the camera
Yeah.
shots. What we're saying there is there's calculations we're given that would explain every mile and a half or 1.6 miles or whatever. I don't know these, I don't care, but there's numbers that tell you you should start to see the earth go down from wherever you're standing in so many miles.
Yeah.
And you do the math enough, it'll tell you how far away it should get on a perfectly flat plane where, you know, you stop seeing things. They're going down because of the curve.
Right.
And there's this one instance in like the ocean sometimes people will see the boat go off in the distance and it'll go down. And that kind of feeds this whole globe stuff.
Yeah.
But it's
It's It's going over the curve. It's going down. Oh, it's following the curve.
Right, but
And
that's
that's
not
why I
what's
said
happening. That's not happening, is the whole,
it's
yeah,
not
no,
happening.
not at all. And
Yeah, that's the miracle of having a nice zoom lens on your camera. Because you can have the boat, the entire bottom of the boat is gone, and maybe just the mast is sticking up, and you're standing there on the beach watching it disappear. And then you take, this camera with the zoom lens. Even it doesn't even have to be the P900. I mean, like you can do it with any camera that has a decent zoom. Anyway, and you zoom out, you zoom in to the boat, and it has not disappeared at all. Still right there on top of the water.
yeah, something.
Um, yeah, not going over a curve. There is no curve. It's the ocean is as flat out where that boat is as 2 feet in front of you. So
I
it's
mean,
it's funny, but that is their favorite proof. That is their favorite proof, isn't it? To this day, even though it's been debunked 1,000 times.
because even though it's not, that is their own physical one in plain sight that they've seen in their life. Everything
Yeah,
else about it is them just reciting the facts they were programmed to recite.
yeah. Well, it's the incomprehensible mathematical models, so-called models of the globe.
They're
That's
comp
that.
they seem to be comprehensible to certain types. I have come across that to the degree that it's like it's not worth it to. That's why I just say it's a system people have been given that it works until someone comes and pokes holes at it, and then that breaks the matrix or whatever. That's everything. But it was working for people even through ludicrous stuff that compiled upon it, like one lie on top of another, you could suggest. But
Yeah,
it's like that's what this life kind of is. These belief systems are that to a degree, depending on how what we're talking about.
yeah.
Hmm.
Well,
I should have looked up the curvature. Was it 8 miles? Every 8 miles? Every
it's 8 inches per mile squared.
okay, whatever that means. No, for me, but I have here there was like, we have views up to 275 miles away with these cameras. Just all over the world. People that are playing this game are doing it and cool, getting these awesome shots that are totally
Yeah.
disproving curvature. The curvature is not there.
Well, they're supposed to be impossible on the globe model, according to their own 8 inches per mile squared.
Right. So these pictures are bending reality.
Yeah, shattering it. Yes,
If the Earth was curving, it wouldn't be flat. It just
it's true.
and
Well, the other thing that I think is important to point out is that standing bodies of water do not display convexity, a curve on the surface. No, the water in your glass, the water on the entire ocean, there is no convexity in a standing body of water anywhere. It's never been seen. Nothing like it, right?
you're
It's
describing
like
like if this circle thing is you're describing the globe is that's what the globe is suggesting, right? That water is doing that.
that water yes, the water bends around the globe, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. It's it that is it's a convex surface. Water somehow does that on the globe. And of course, they say it's gravity that sticks the water to the ball, right? These the trillion billion gallons of water, this weak force of gravity, weak, right, can be overcome by a helium balloon or a butterfly, cottonwood seeds, you know,
Dandelion, yeah.
it's so it's like, okay, you can have your gravity, right? Fine, whatever. But let's just admit that, this mysterious gravity isn't, if it exists, it's incredibly weak. And how the hell does it, adhere, the world's oceans, to the globe while it is hurling at 1,200 miles an hour, whirling, going around, rotating constantly, and flying at incomprehensible speeds through space. Incomprehensible speeds, impossible speeds, right? Ludicrous speeds. And, going around the sun, so, okay, so, you don't, nobody has ever witnessed, photographed, water displaying convexity on its surface, you know, still water, right? Still.
Yeah, you don't see
Like
that
a
out in nature. It's not never, ever, ever.
never. I mean, you have, like lakes in the mountains or the ocean itself. I mean, it's just like glass. You can see that like all the time, right? It's like glass. The reflections in it are like a mirror. It's like a mirror. Mirrors aren't convex, right? They're flat. The mirror you look in or whatever is flat. Um,
Same can be said from the when you're at the beach and you're looking at the water as
yes,
far as the eye can see. You know,
yes,
you can't see the water curving at all. It's just a flat horizon that you can look back and
yeah,
forth.
yeah. Well, in the clouds, or whatever is in the vicinity is, if the water is still, there the reflection is perfect. It's not distorted. If the water was, you know, curving in any way, no matter how slight the curve, it would introduce distortion into the image, but it doesn't. You never see that. People have taken a million billion photos or seen it with their own eyes, all through time, and nobody's ever witnessed this sort of distortion that should be there.
You just can't find the curvature. It's just they tell it
It's
this, but
very elusive.
yeah. And like we brought up before, the one big thing was this idea of ships going down in your view, and that was a big proof. And it's not, that's an optical illusion of sorts. You can play with it on dry land and get that
Yeah,
kind of, I think I brought up the football field one where you put a camera on the grass and you have someone walk away and you don't even need the full length of the football field, but eventually it's going to look like that guy is disappearing, going
yeah,
below. But
right. His legs disappear, right? Up to the point of like the whole figure is gone.
right,
But did he really disappear? No.
yeah,
Did he vanish into the grass? No.
the grass curved. He has the football field, you know,
Yeah. I mean, it's a level playing field, as they say, right? A football field is level.
beautiful. Yeah. The
You know,
plain stuff is get back to the etymology. It seems like in plain sight, something's there with the planet and just plane of existence. Sometimes people call this. It's an
yeah,
infinite plane, and that's how you make up for. They gave us the globe and these continents and countries all over it, but you kind of just flatten that thing.
yeah. It changes things a bit, and all we, as globe deniers are asking for, is a level playing field, right? That's all we want in this debate, right?
True. Mm, but we don't get that.
We don't get that. We're just dismissed as fools, and stuff like that, which is not an argument, right? I mean, that's not an argument. Calling people names, that doesn't prove any point. That's not even an argument, you know, it's ridiculous. So,
Yeah, no doubt.
yeah. But when you get, when you get into like, you know, empirical reality and stuff like that, you know, the fact that, water does not display convexity on its surface, stuff like that. You know, globe people, they don't like that kind of stuff because you're introducing empirical facts that they cannot, you can't contest that. Boy, these morons and their crotch rocket motorcycles.
It's funny. Zoom doesn't pick up the background noises as much as you would. Sometimes I worry my dog's barking and I'm like,
No,
but then I hear the recording and it's like it didn't show up at all. I didn't hear
no.
your motorcycles. I'm gonna have my last swig of water and then
Yeah, look at how flat that is. It's amazing. So look, I mean, another thing I would point out is that, okay, we're told that the Earth, the surface of the Earth is covered. 70% of it is covered by water. 70% is water, ocean. That's the case. You have something, the surface of which is 70% water. Where the hell you know you cannot detect any kind of curve in water. So where the hell is the curve on a globe that's 70% water? That doesn't leave a lot of land.
right.
And water doesn't curve. So and we're told that the Earth is covered by 70% of water.
No,
So
I get the point. Again, you look at
it doesn't add up.
however far you can see with an ocean, uh, from the edge of the ocean in one direction. Who knows? But you'll never. I guess we keep saying say the curve, see the curve. I was thinking of a different point, and you kind of led me trying to back you up over there, but I had nothing. Just the last thing about this is the whole. I had to get this out before it's gone. Um, the water always finds its level concept playing into the 70% of the world.
Right.
Uh,
It's water.
what this concept is like, again, observing water to try and find curve anywhere or whatever, support the globe. Anytime, if you have a glass or you have, any odd shaped hole, anything, when you add water, it's going to collect up and then level out, and that's always
Every time.
the characteristics of how water works. And
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, those are the physical, that's one of the physical properties of water. Any physicist would tell you that that is true.
so the oceans are very big holes that have been
Yes,
filled up with water and level out, and
that's right.
there's some because of weather and tides and other things going on, there's some leeway to it all, but it's not
Well,
a
there's only disturbances. I mean, it's
yeah.
disturbances. Um, that doesn't change, just the inherent nature properties of water. A storm or something, that doesn't change anything.
Still not curving.
Yeah,
Damn it.
still not curving. Yes.
But talking about flat Earth discredits everything about you.
That's all right. I mean, I enjoy being unpopular. I would really feel like I was doing something wrong if I found myself in agreement with everybody else, or vice versa. I'd be like, where the hell did I go wrong?
I get that. I don't, yeah. It's not like at the forefront of my thoughts. It's not like I'm trying to be a rebellious type. but more often than not, I do
Right.
find myself at odds with
Totally.
a lot of mainstream takes, and always have been that way.
Ditto. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what it is about, people like us, I guess, but I don't know. I'd rather be this way than the other way.
Can't have it any other way.
Not that I guess, we have much of a choice since we're just sort of compelled to kick against the pricks, as they say.
There's the idea, it's like, you can take it's all everything is perspective, everything is glasses half empty, half full. You can learn a lot of wisdom in this world and then not really know how to apply it. You could overcome fears and then not really do anything like much with your life, but just be content. There's all types of different like paradoxes and things you can do and what life is. And these people that don't see a lot of the don't see flat earth. They don't see why it would be wise to avoid maybe the vaccines. They don't see a lot of things that are what then causes people that do see them, causes them to call them names, say they're this or that. Everyone,
Yeah.
anyone and everyone could do that. I live here in this central Kentucky, lower class, lower income people. Got a lot of stuff we point at as kind of dumb that you see day to day stuff. But then they got their knowledge, of this area that if without the people I met here, they've helped me get out of situations or understand my farm here a little bit better. Like just endless
Yeah.
stuff. They have their own wisdom. They have their own information that
Yeah. Well,
really,
I mean, there's practical wisdom, you know, as opposed, and then maybe on the other side, theoretical wisdom, if you will, or knowledge.
that's a good point.
But yes, actual know-how, I think, is, more valuable than theoretical
Yeah, and in a certain
knowledge.
situation, that's gonna be very true, you know?
Certainly. Certainly, man. You know, it's
And
it's one thing to understand like a carburetor or an engine in theory, but never have it, have never worked on one or taken it apart and put it back together. You want somebody that, is a real mechanic, not somebody who's just read a manual.
yeah, and because life is like that, that's where it becomes the most wise to kind of embody these like Christ-like principles as you go about things, because you never know when you're going to be the guy without the information or the know-how, reliant on that person. You know, you were trained to call names because they don't see or live like you do.
Yeah.
Christ thing is to rise above that, realize that's not that way, you know, and
Well, yeah, because I mean, let's say, you you take your car to the mechanic and maybe the mechanic has gotten the vaccine and all the boosters and believes they live on a spinning ball, but they know how to fix your car, whereas you do not.
absolutely,
So, man, it's like, you know, uh, are you, would I walk in and be like, sheeple, you know, you're just a sheep, you're just a believer, you're just a pawn or whatever. No,
yeah, hell no,
never, not in
never.
a million years.
But it's
How
like,
stupid would I be, right? How stupid would I be?
am I stupid to believe people like that exist, or is it just like an internet facade that like people put on the show here, and then hopefully they're smart enough not to really be like that out in public?
No, I've seen people do that out in public quite a few times, actually.
Yeah. Demean, because yeah, They don't get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I mean, it's throwing the baby out with the bathwater, I guess, right? It's like they don't see any value in somebody who isn't on the same page as them. They see no value.
And
So
and the point of
that's
the
that's that's some serious, tunnel vision.
in times where everyone has got different ideas. And